Hello again. This is Todd with Off the Cuff. That's what I'm calling it. And if I look right or left, I'm standing on a sidewalk, so I could be a little self-conscious from time to time because people are riding their bikes, and there's an occasional walker from time to time, so it can be somewhat distracting. So in the midst of this crisis that we have with the coronavirus, I just would like to impart some perspective. So in front of me, right here, is the Calvary Cemetery, which is one of the biggest cemeteries in New York. It's in between Brooklyn and Queens, kind of like on the border of Greenpoint, Brooklyn, and Long Island City. There are a number, probably hundreds, if not thousands, of tombstones on them that are from the 1800s, and there's even a few of them that are from the 1700s. I have even posted a few pictures of them, I believe, on some social media websites, perhaps this one here. So one thing that is very apparent is that a lot of the casualties were there are people from all age groups, but there were unusually a great number of them of people that were before the age of 50. And not too recently, in 1918, we had a pandemic of the Spanish flu, which took about 50 million people worldwide, and I believe somewhere around 670,000 deaths in the United States alone. So, needless to say, that just because we haven't had a pandemic in a while, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not a part of life. There have been forecasts of a pandemic that have been talked about. I think there's a Netflix either series or documentary about one called Pandemic, and I haven't watched it, but I've saw the previews for it, and the narration's just like, it's not a matter of how a pandemic's going to happen, it's when. But luckily now, in comparison to the early 1900s and before that, like in the 1700s, where they had, I think, the Black Plague and the other typhoid fever and earlier pandemics, we got more medical technology than we've ever had of all time. And there's so many different stories out there of how it started, and however it got here, wherever we're pointing the finger, it's here, and we gotta deal with it. So I think the best thing that everyone should do is just face the facts and not dwell in the fear. Let me rephrase the point I'm trying to make. You do what you can do. You do everything you possibly can do, and that's what you should do. Follow all the guidelines of of what these medical experts are saying, from Dr. Fauci to Dr. Oz to YouTube people that you're watching on YouTube. Follow their advice, but don't. I mean, going to Costco and buying 3 shopping carts full of toilet paper so the next person can't wipe their ass is kind of dumb. Seriously, it really is. I just talked to some people from Pennsylvania, and they say that they can't buy toilet paper anywhere they go. It's all bought up. And that sucks. I don't have that problem. And I think that all my neighbors are very cool with that problem as well, or lack of that problem as well. Because no one's really freaking out about it, and everyone is just doing their part. There's no point in getting worked up and stressed out over things that you have absolutely no control of. It's here, we got to deal with it, and that's the situation. So for people that are out there, if this helps, fantastic. Sorry for the pauses in between. I'm not the most eloquent speaker on the planet, although I should be, because it's part of my prerequisites that I should have. I get tongue-tied a lot. I'm sure that it's going to post me flashing my tongue out on YouTube or Facebook, because they always seem to have a magical way of selecting you at your utmost worst. So there you go. And yes, I do not edit my videos. That's why it's called Off the Cuff. So if I mispronounce a few words here and there, and I correct myself in the process of doing so, that's what you get. You don't get like a stop cut and then like, a redo of it. I don't do that. I know some people do it because they want to give the absolute best presentation. That's fine. I'm not going to say anything negative about that. But this is how I do things. So, and sometimes I oftentimes don't speak that clearly. Maybe it sounds a little unintelligent, possibly. But that's my 2 cents. For whatever it's worth. Don't spend it all in one spot.